Moin! Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. I'm coming to you from Canada. Title of today's video, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz on Ukraine. No hope left for a diplomatic solution to the conflict. You guys, I think I finally figured out who Merz reminds me of. Mr. Mackey from South Park. Russia's bad, okay? Russia's real bad. And Putin's bad. Okay. All right, let's get into it.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz touched on
German Chancellor Mackey.
the largest strike on Ukraine in Wednesday's general debate in the German parliament, promising renewed aid for Kyiv. He also said that he has no hope left for a diplomatic solution to the conflict.
All right. Well, you know, we've tried diplomacy, you see. We tried diplomacy with Vladimir, but he doesn't pick up the phone. All right,
to help Ukraine, even against the resistance of the political left, and we will continue to help Ukraine, even against the resistance of the political left and the Russia-friendly right here in the House. We will continue this support.
So you have the political left and the Russia-friendly right supporting Ukraine. I guess the AfD, and who on the political left?
And let me make it even clearer.
At least put on a tie, you guys. Come on. Look at these people. Slobs.
The means of diplomacy have been exhausted.
And for more, let's bring in DW Chief Political Editor Michael Kufner, who's joining us from the German Parliament. What should we make of that statement from the Chancellor?
Well, he is making clear that those phone conversations with Vladimir Putin have not yielded results. It's also in the vein of the latest comments that we've seen from US President Donald Trump, who basically said he would be sending defense equipment to Ukraine. He's very unhappy with the last conversation he had with Vladimir Putin. And the German backdrop to that is that the largest opposition party, which is the far-right AfD party, is against continued military supplies to Ukraine, which the German government, of course, has vowed it will continue to do. And this was part of a back and forth, really, a response by Friedrich Merz to Alice Weidel.
I hadn't seen the news reports on Trump's latest talks with Putin and sending defense equipment to Ukraine. But it's pretty shitty for the people, in Ukraine and the people in Russia that are affected. Once again, world leaders.
The leader of the far-right AfD party, who continues to accuse Friedrich Merz of being a chancellor who doesn't keep his word, who spends too much time abroad. That's what she said in the debate today. And here, Friedrich Merz wants to set the record straight that it takes two to talk about peace, and that Vladimir Putin...
Yeah, certainly it takes two to tango. You need your opposition to come to the table if you're going to be trying to come to a resolution. They need to come to the table with good faith effort. If that's not there, if they're just coming for craps and giggles, what's the point? Putin's been doing this for years. You really can't trust the guy at all. If he says he's going to sign an agreement with Ukraine, it's not going to be a fair one. It's going to be putting his boot on Ukraine. Like, his resolution is just absorbing Ukraine into Russia. That's what Putin wants. Like, the absolute power creeps. Absolutely. The guy's been a dictator for how long now? You can't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. Like, I don't know.
Is not willing to really talk about any kind of ceasefire agreement. This was clearly meant for a German public, which still backs the government's handling of Ukraine. But there's always the concern that this accusation can be hanging in the air, that there's not enough diplomacy going on.
Okay. You mentioned it there. The parliament is in the midst of this general debate. So does it look like Merz is delivering the kind of leadership that he promised Germany and Europe?
Well, he says so, and that's also his argument when he cites all his foreign trips. Germany will triple its defense spending by 2029.
We shall double our efforts.
He made clear that unless Germany had reformed that debt brake and made a huge exemption for defense spending, that NATO's survival essentially would not have been guaranteed to meet those expectations, particularly from the US side of more defense spending. All of this was a reply to far-right leader Alice Weidel, who had the first speech in this general debate, which traditionally is really taking stock, although Friedrich Merz, of course, is still within those 100 first days. He's just on day 64 in office as German chancellor here. His argument is that Germany is taking an increased stance and that those investments, also in infrastructure that he promised.
Yeah, we've seen a lot lately in the news and on the channel too, on video. Germany's rearming, building up the military back, and the potentials for conscription. I loved a lot of the conversation and points that you guys made about conscription and about how it can actually serve to protect, or it can serve to lessen the chances of a war. Because if Putin's looking around and he's making moves, and if he sees a weak target, right, that's higher chance of him kind of doing things which are dictatorship. Point is, conscription, it can be beneficial. Instead of, not having an army or enough personnel, if you just conscript them, there's less chance of conflict.
Will now be in the pipeline. Against that, from the opposition, there's criticism that, for instance, lower prices for energy is only for big business and not individual consumers. So Friedrich Merz made clear that talking to foreign leaders as a nation of an export nation.
It's just so annoying, right? Like all these people in power around the world and different countries, elites, nepotism, it's all about who you know, connections, and politicians, their kids are politicians, their kids are actors, their kids are, right? And corruption is just so entrenched, like a country like Russia. The corruption is like off the charts. How can you reverse that without essentially like a full-scale revolution in such a large country like that, with such a politically rich history, but with an oligarchy and deep rooted corruption headed by, the president Putin, who kind of top down brings about that corruption and entrenches it and solidifies it and magnifies it and galvanizes it. Pretty hard to reverse something like that. So it's like, I don't know, what do you do, man? It sucks. It sucks for everybody who's just good, kind, normal people.
Is also in the interest of the German people.
DW's Michaela Kufner. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you on the next video, okay? Peace. Let me know what you guys think down below. We'll see you soon.